Right, and now I'm going to start this. Here we go. All right, thank you for joining me today. My name is, oh, now it's live. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Helen Edwards. I am the author of the upcoming book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, and this is my Sexy Freedom Media podcast. And today I have my good friend who I talked into joining me on this podcast, Jordan.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about one of our favorite subjects, which is yoga.
Yoga.
So there's a couple things that I've known Jordan for what? 3 years? Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 years. And in the 3 years, I really don't know much about her background of yoga because we click more as like women and friends. So now I kind of want to ask her questions about her yoga journey. So when did you start doing yoga? Or how did you get involved in yoga, first of all?
So I got involved in yoga, oh gosh, so I'm 39, so that was...
She looks great for 39, by the way.
15, 16 years ago. I think I was, yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. I don't think about it until somebody asks me and then I say it out loud and I'm like, wow, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got into it in my early 20s and then it was like, I just sort of, fell in love with it, and it was a perfect fit for me. It felt kind of like a natural thing to do. I was immersed in the practice, and all of my friends, like my good friends, thought I was a yoga teacher, and I wasn't. I was just
practicing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would invite everybody to class, and I would recruit everybody. And so the owner of the yoga studio was like, oh, I'm going to start giving you a referral fee because I would bring so many people to yoga. And then it just was kind of a natural transition, because it's like,
was it here in Phoenix or?
No, this was actually, well, I started in Phoenix and then I moved over to LA. So that's where I got into Bikram yoga actually.
Ooh,
yeah. And I was doing the hot yoga for like 6 years.
Which is Bikram yoga, right?
Bikram yoga. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different hot yogas, but that was the one I was doing. And then I moved back to Phoenix, and when I came back to Phoenix, that's when I became a yoga teacher.
Yeah. So did you do like the 300 hour, 200 hour?
200 hours at Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. It's now called Spirit of Yoga, over in Tempe, Arizona. And then from there, I've done a ton of hours of yoga training, but but it was just so when you become a certified yoga teacher, you do 200 hours, and then to become I think I can't even remember the labels they give it now, like a master yoga teacher. Then you do another 300-hour program. Right. So I've done well over 500 hours, but they've been kind of different, not the usual line that you go. Yeah. From there, I went to Naam Yoga, which is actually in Santa Monica, and they are more focused on meditation and the energetic body and pranayama, breathing exercises.
So real quick, for people that don't know what yoga is, what is yoga?
So yoga is, it's basically just learning to connect. Yoga means union. So it's connection of the mind, the body, the spirit. It's learning to understand how your thoughts and your body and your energy and all of that is connected and how it affects each other.
And so what drew you to the actual practice of yoga? Was it the Bikram or was it the philosophy?
What actually drew me to yoga, this is funny to say because my path changed so much since then. But what drew me to it, and I'm grateful for it, is Madonna at the time. Madonna was doing yoga.
Like a virgin?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. and she had her arms looked like great. And at that time I was like, I was more into going to the gym at that time in my life.
So it was like more of a workout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'm going to go because if it works you out that great, then I need to go so I could look good,
Madonna looking good. Shout out Madonna.
I'm serious. She looks great.
She's amazing.
Even now, still for about
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
So that's why I started. I'm very A-type personality. So I was like, Bikram, if anybody watching this knows about Bikram, you understand. But it's very like intense, like hardcore. Come on.
Right.
Yeah. and I've shifted so much since then. Like my practice is really way more gentle now, way more therapeutic, way more meditative. All of it's good, you know.
And what practice is that?
So now I'm more, I just do a lot of, like the most recent class I did is called Healing Emphasis Yoga here in Tempe, Arizona at Inner Vision Yoga. And I tend to just, I do a lot of Naam Yoga because I'm a Naam Yoga therapist. I went to, to that training. So I do a lot of mantra meditation, breathing exercises, and then just more, I tend to gravitate more towards the basic yoga where I can really focus on my breath and connecting my breath.
And what is Naam? What does the word Naam mean?
So Naam, I think it means name, but Naam Yoga it is created by Dr. Joseph Michael Every, who was trained and trained with Yogi Bhajan, who, if you guys are familiar with Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan created Kundalini Yoga. And it's all based off of a lot of, you know, like I was saying, pranayama, meditation, and the energetic body. And so, he made it his own practice. It's different. It's not Kundalini, but you'll see a lot of similarities in those practices.
I've been to a couple of your classes, and I love them, by the way. You're a great yoga teacher. And you're definitely dedicated when you're there. I feel like you're completely present with all of your students. But what is it about Naam Yoga that because there's tons of different, I mean, when I got into yoga, there's so many different types of yoga out there, and I had no idea. So what is it that Naam Yoga grabbed your attention versus like Bikram Yoga or Power Yoga or Kundalini Yoga?
Okay, so Naam Yoga was like, I went to a Naam. Okay, so by the way, there's only 2 teachers that are Naam Yoga certified in the state of Arizona.
No way. Are you one of them?
Yeah.
So there's one other.
So the one I learned it from was the only teacher that was certified at the time. Her name is Nicole Coyle. She actually has a yoga studio here in Mesa, a Naam Yoga studio here in Mesa. And so I went at first. It's really funny because I was like, what's Naam Yoga? Because she kept inviting me to all these things, and somebody was like, oh, it's like a meditation yoga, and I was like, I don't have time for that. And I was already a yoga teacher, and I was saying like, no, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do fitness yoga or whatever.
Fitness yoga.
And so I finally one day I was like, I'm just gonna go check it out. And actually, what happened was she invited me to this workshop where it was like because Naam Yoga teaches a lot of Kabbalistic astrology, and so she did a workshop.
Back up for those of us that don't know what Kabbalistic means. What is that?
So Kabbalah, it's not a religion. I don't know what you would call it. I don't want to say the wrong thing about what it is, but it's very interesting. If you want to know more about it, I would suggest just Googling it. But Kabbalah basically incorporates like different astrological, aspects.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't either. And so she invited me to this workshop. It was like the planets, and I was like, what? And I was just in the very beginning stages of creating yoga astrology, which is okay. So. Okay. I shouldn't call it that because somebody else already got that name. So I changed that name to Yoga Starology, but basically it's yoga and astrology mixed together. So when she invited me to that, I was like, somebody's already doing that? Like, what's going on? I didn't know Naam had, was talking about the planets. So I went to the class and fell in love with what she was doing and started going to all her classes. And then I just signed up. Like I just knew it, in my soul. I was like, I'm going to Naam Yoga teacher training.
But you knew like you knew.
Yeah, I just knew. And then when I first started, I didn't realize how meditative of a practice it was, and I wasn't used to that. And if you guys have never done that before, it's very challenging in a whole other way. So it's like,
yes.
So I got to the teacher training, and I'm not even lying to you. They had me doing meditation for like 3 to 4 hours, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? And when I first got, they were so happy. All the teachers were like, ah, and I was like, yeah, right.
And how many? Let me interject. How many years ago was this?
This was, I think, 5 years.
Wow.
4 years? 4 or 5 years
So
ago.
It's kind of recent, but not recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's been a while. Yeah, and I just remember when I went there thinking, how are they so happy? Because I was not feeling like that, you know? And then by the end of the training, I was like floating on air, and I was like, okay, I see how they're so happy now, because all of that breathing, all of that meditation, the mantra, it totally shifts your energy, and you know, you have to experience it for yourself.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So the planets and astrology, do you feel like it's something that you've connected with longer than the 4 years, and it's something that just drew you in, or was it something that you connected with when you learned about Naam Yoga?
No, so I'm an astrologist, and I've been studying since I was in grade school, and I love astrology. So I was like, I want to mix, and I love yoga, obviously, and I wanted to mix the two.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of already doing that. And then it just so happened that, you know, she was doing that. So I was already interested. And so I was super excited that a yoga practice was teaching. Because, by the way, Kabbalistic astrology is way different from Western astrology. And that's what I know is Western astrology. And then I've learned some Kabbalistic astrology through Naam Yoga. And then I just sort of meshed them together.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And kind of made it your own.
Yeah.
And then you kind of you have your own thing where you kind of go out and you teach people privately and everything too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yoga and astrology workshops and all of that stuff.
So. That's pretty dope. I did not know that about you. Yeah. That's pretty interesting. So I have a question. If somebody is brand new to yoga, never done yoga in their life, what is the one, since there's different types out there, what would you suggest for them to do the first time doing yoga? Like what are some, you know, with all the different practices out there, what's some good ones for a beginner?
I would say, you know, the trend seems to be hot yoga, but I don't super push that now. I'm not against it. I'm not against it, but I'm just saying that it can be very taxing on the body if you don't know how to properly take care of yourself before and after. So if you're brand new to yoga, I would say start with a beginner's class. And I've heard a lot of people say, you know, they've gone to a beginner's class or whatnot, and then the beginner's class they didn't feel like it was a beginner's class. Yeah. But here's what I want to say about that. And this is the other thing people always say is, oh, I'm not flexible enough, but that's why you go into yoga. You know, it's like, well, yeah, perfect. Then you should go to yoga. And then a lot of people are very scared about going, and I understand this, very nervous about going to a class in a class setting. So, and I'm going to be making a beginner's yoga video that I put on my YouTube channel.
I'm so excited. Yeah. What is your YouTube channel? I didn't even know you had one.
Oh gosh,
how's that possible?
Oh no, I don't remember. We'll have to put it in the comments.
We'll put it
I can't. I'm revamping everything, so I haven't used it in a while. But I am going to be doing that, so that'll be there free. But you could get what I wanted to say is you could get yoga, basic yoga, beginner's yoga videos if you were uncomfortable going to class, to try it out first, then go to class. Yeah. But just remember, if you do go to class, the thing about yoga is you only do what you feel right doing. You don't have to do things that don't feel right to your body, that you know what I mean, that push you in a way that is, yeah, you're going to be pushed in a way where you feel uncomfortable. You break out of your comfort zone. That's good, but not in a way where you hurt yourself. So people always have this misconception that you go to yoga, you have to do all the postures and you have to, you know, and you don't. You take a break if you need it. You let the teacher know you're a beginner. A good teacher is always going to be supportive of whatever you want to do. If you're in child's pose, if you're in shavasana because it's too much for you, that's what you do. That's fine. Yeah. And just be easy on yourself, you know, don't be too hard on yourself.
I think a lot of people are competitive though, because I know for anybody because yoga is, you know, besides the workout part, the asanas, there's also the spirit and mind part of it. And I think that comes later. Once you join, you start realizing that there's a whole asanas, which are the body, right? The poses are actually a part of yoga. That's not the complete yoga. Right. And I think that when people ask me, you know, what do I start with? How do I start? Or I need to be more flexible. We hear that as yoga instructors and in the community all the time. And I think that you just have to jump in, but you definitely have to be mindful or you're going to learn it the hard way. Yeah. Yeah. What is there?
And I have friends who've pulled their sternums.
I have.
Really?
Well, not the sternum, but I tore my chest fiber. My first injury ever in my whole entire life was doing yoga. And before yoga, I did CrossFit, weight training, and then I did yoga, and I just jumped in, and I was very, very competitive. Like I was like, I'm going to show off. I'm fit. Okay. I got this. I did not have it. Clearly thought I was having a heart attack. So I found out my heart was on the opposite side. Apparently I had no body awareness then either. I went in the ER. I was like, I'm having a heart attack. They're like, ma'am, your heart is on the other side. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
That's right.
So yeah, definitely have to be mindful because there's a lot of injuries.
Well, and I think it's because one of the things I think is because people think yoga is going to be really easy. And by the way, this is what I thought when I went, even though seeing Madonna's arms and everything, I still went into yoga like thinking, because a friend took me actually. So it was a combination of Madonna and my friend being like, come on. And so I went to yoga and I was like, oh, give me a break. It's going to be, and it was not easy. It's not easy. It's a whole different way of using your body and your muscles. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then also the biggest thing, and like she was saying, like most people are focused on the asanas, the postures.
Right.
That's what asanas are first, but it's more about the breath. Okay. So it's about finding that calm place inside and really connecting to your breath. And I always tell my students, like, if all you're doing is sitting there in child's pose, breathing, you're doing yoga.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And if you're just there working out, you're just working out.
Yeah.
You're not yoga is connecting all three. Yeah. If you don't connect all three, you've pretty much just went to a workout place, paid the $20, got your workout worth, you know. But if you paid the $20, connected all three, you've really taken a step forward in your practice, which is what it is.
And you'd rather be sitting there on your mat, honestly, you'd rather be, this is the challenge. It sounds easy, but it's not. Sitting there on your mat, breathing, focusing on your breath, then moving through a bunch of really hard postures and not breathing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. So last time we had a conversation about yoga and where we feel like it's moving in life, and can't wait to see your documentary when you make it. Hint, hint. But, you know, we mentioned that, you know, there's a lot of people who have, you know, asked me about yoga, but they want to know, you know, do I have to be flexible? What are some other things? The price is too high. It's in North Scottsdale or South Scottsdale, like it's in these, like, you know, areas where they can't afford it, or, you know, so how would you suggest to one to overcome these obstacles of maybe the price being too high, that, you know, not flexible enough, or don't have yoga pants, which is, I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
How would you?
First of all, don't worry about what your yoga clothes look like. Okay, it's the last thing you need to worry about, except for maybe the yoga pants being see-through.
That's yoga-licious.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
You might make a lot of men's day really.
Yeah, we're women. So.
Good. Yeah. But so you know, the last thing to, and I know what you're saying, because there's a lot of yoga studios that are very trendy, and if you go there, and I'm not bad mouthing this, but I'm just saying, if sometimes when people go there, it can be intimidating. It can make you feel like, oh, I need to have all these fancy yoga clothes, but you don't. And I would say do the research, because there's a ton of yoga studios, and there are yoga studios like even like YMCA, for example, or I can't think of the name, but there's, you know, like community places where the yoga is way less money. There's also donation-based classes.
Oh, all over.
Yeah, all over. You just have to do the research. There's even yoga studios literally that charge like $10 a class.
There's yoga on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if that's what you need to do right now, you know, find a YouTube yoga video or something like that. That will save you money as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I was saying earlier, we teach different styles of yoga. There's so many yoga opportunities out there, but if you're not connecting that mind, body, spirit, you're pretty much working out, which is nothing wrong with that. If you want to start with working out, just at least get your foot in the door into the practice.
Right. Yeah. And that's sometimes what draws people to it. And that's another thing too, is because like, that's what drew me to it, is I thought it was more of a workout. And I think that's fine, because it gets people there. And then pretty soon with yoga, even if you are only focused on the postures at first, stuff starts to shift. you know?
Yeah.
So it's good. It's just a matter of what do you want it for. That's what I wanted it for in the beginning. Now I want it for peace of mind and you know. I
think with the journey, just like any other journey, there's going to be changes. Just like you started 15 years ago, you started in Bikram. Now you're doing yum, you're doing yum, and you've kind of evolved during that time. You know, you thought you were a certain way, and you've evolved through the practice. Now you're teaching this, and who knows what that's going to evolve into sooner or later. Also, like I first started just wanting to teach yoga. I actually thought it was a workout. I jumped in doing yoga for the first time in my yoga teacher training because I just wanted something different with my life. And then I learned a lot about it, injured myself, became very humbled through the process. And I fought with myself a lot with yoga. I was like, yoga, fuck this, not doing it anymore. Like it's a piece of shit. It's just ruining my life. But it wasn't. It was challenging me to become mentally and physically stronger, but more mentally stronger. And then you got me into booty yoga when we met. No, actually, was it last year? Yeah, it was last summer.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it's been a year now. So you got me into booty yoga. For anybody out there who doesn't know, B-U-T-I, it's an Indian Marathi word that means the cure that's hidden within. It was founded by Busy Gold. I love it.
I did not even know that.
I love it.
Hidden within. Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I actually am going to start teaching at Urban Yoga starting in October on Saturdays. And I'm really excited because for me, like all the booty instructors and even yoga instructors, we all have our own flair and style that we bring to it. And what really drew me to booty yoga is the fact that I like to warrior up. I like to do some face paint and just get out of my body, feel like the warrior is there. And it's more of a body thing for me, but it really connects my mind on making me feel empowered and strong, especially as a woman. So I'm really thankful that you got me into that.
I love booty yoga. That's definitely more. Well, I feel like it's more fit. It's more cardio.
It's cardio.
So
it's intense.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. But it feels like it has this hip hop like dance vibe.
There's
tribal. You know, it depends on the teacher too.
Definitely.
But it's so much fun. So if you haven't tried that, try that too.
Yes, I actually when I joined up, I actually hated it. Just like I hated yoga, just like I hate pole dancing. But that's what happens when well, anyways, for me, somebody who's very competitive, very much type A, if there's something that's super hard for me, I hate it instantly. But then I know that's what I need. That's what I need in my life because that's what's going to push me further, make me stronger, faster, more amazinger. Is amazinger a word? I don't know. Now it is.
It is now.
It is that, yeah. So another thing I want to talk about is the yoga community. Now, I feel like there's something that needs to be talked about. We've talked about it briefly, but I think it does need to be talked about. When I first got involved in yoga, I was really into the community. I wanted to be like them, kind of like you were saying when you went to the Naam Yoga class and everybody was happy. I wanted that. I wanted that happiness, that free spiritness. I felt like those were my people. And then I joined and realized there are people just like me, you know, and I also realized like, it's not a religion. I mean, yes, it was founded in India and there's Hinduism out there, but brought to the Western world, it's definitely become more westernized.
Right.
But now I definitely try to actually stay out of the community sometimes. I pick and choose my battles when it comes to the community because there's a lot of politics involved and that can actually scare people away. And there's people who are judging people and it's always yoga judgers on yoga judgers. Like it's almost like a game, like they're just judging back and forth, you know? And for me, and I've always been this way and I'm always going to stay this way, hopefully, I really don't give a fuck.
You are.
I really believe like if it's helped me connect my mind, body, and spirit, that's the core value of it. And I welcome anybody who wants to judge me and my practices or my teaching, instructing with it, or what I wear. I dare you, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. I love you all. Everybody love everybody, okay? No, but it's true. There is this. I was on this teacher's Facebook page for yoga instructors, and man, it got harsh. And I was like, I got to get out of this.
Really?
Yeah, because
What happened?
It was just these yoga instructors who were saying, you know, I don't think this is real yoga versus I don't think this is real yoga. And it just hit me like, you know, I'm still fresh. I'm still, what, 2 years in now? And because of that, I'm the kind of person that will be like, I don't need all this drama. I'm out of the community.
Yeah.
But why am I going to let other people's opinions and judgments on what I have learned to love in my life and help me affect my teaching or helping others?
Right. Yeah.
So
no, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So I definitely went in with like rose-colored glasses, you know,
Yeah.
into
like
the
that.
yoga community, like, oh,
glasses.
it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
And it ended up being different than what I thought it was, and that's okay. And I got not to like I'm above it or you know, it's more like I got sucked into it, is what I should say, and then realized what was kind of happening. It's unfortunately it's very competitive, but here's the thing, and this is why nobody should put a teacher, spiritual teacher, a yoga teacher especially, on a pedestal, because everybody's a human being.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And a lot of yoga teachers get really offended by that, but here's the thing.
Let's offend them. Let's do this. We're all in.
Like that, you know, saying you're human is a spiritual bypass. But here's the thing. Not really, because you're human and you're going to make mistakes, and you know, you should not be putting we're just teaching yoga. We're there, we learned yoga, and we probably, from the people I know, pretty much became a yoga teacher because of all of the pain and the heartache that we've dealt with, and we're trying to overcome, and we're trying to heal, and we're trying to find some peace. And we thought, you know, we can give someone else a glimpse of this, but I never want anyone to put me up here. I don't want to put anybody else up here. Like, you're just teaching me what you've learned, and I'm just teaching what I've learned, and then hopefully that helps someone. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it can definitely. So it's a good point. I like that you said that. Yeah, because you don't want to get too caught up. Don't get too caught up in it.
Don't get too caught up. That's the message of the day. Yeah. Everything else is just mumbo jumbo. Don't get caught up, or don't get caught.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yoga is life changing for a lot of people. I hope that I grow in it. I remember when we met. So me and Jordan met at our friend
Desire Mat,
Alicia, she's, well, you're probably really close to her. I still got to meet with her, but she held this Desire Mat. Yeah. Weekend type.
Yeah, like so a workshop. If you're not familiar with Desire Map, it's goodness gracious, how could I possibly
deport?
Yeah, Danielle Laporte.
Yeah, okay. Danielle Laporte. Wow. Amazing book.
Yeah,
love it.
It's really cool. Actually, that's what that is. You see that painting?
Oh,
so anyways, it's based on words that you choose, and you kind of build your life around that. So we had an awesome time, and I was there to teach yoga. That's what I did. I taught them yoga that weekend, and I also learned with everybody. It was
so hard.
No,
I was like,
you did good.
And I remember my nostrils were burning from all the breathing. It was like it was before my yoga teacher training, like right before.
Oh yeah,
remember? And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. I signed up. What was I thinking? And you were like, you're gonna love it. Just do it. And then, I think that was my first actual yoga class with you. I've done 2 classes of hot yoga, which are completely different. Okay. Yours, I think, were you teaching Naam Yoga?
Naam, I was teaching Naam, yeah.
That Naam in my nostril was fierce. Like
doing breathing exercises.
Hot.
Yeah.
It was hot, and I'll never forget. I was like, it's on fire. I felt like I need to throw some water up in there. It wasn't, that didn't look too good, did it?
Funny.
Mom, turn the other way.
Don't let Mom.
No, but it was so hard, and I thought, that's funny. I'm so confused because I still didn't know that there's different kinds of yoga.
Right. Yeah.
So that was confusing to me, and I remember thinking, if that's hard on my nose. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
But you really helped me. Like, you encouraged me, stick it through.
Well, they probably didn't do that much pranayama in that particular training.
Right. We didn't do a lot. It was, I mean, I did the 200-hour class.
Yeah.
I've been teaching.
You get basics of it. And
right.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go to India and do a 300-hour.
Really?
That's my goal. I would definitely like to do that. But I want to get some teaching under my belt for, a few more years.
Yeah.
Or months. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. I'm kind of all over the place sometimes. So.
Hey, whatever you feel.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
So what's next for you?
I don't know. Right now I'm in the process of revamping everything that I offer. So, like I was saying, I do astrology, I do astrology charts, I do intuitive oracle tarot card readings, I do yoga. I teach yoga. So basically, and I have a site, jordanmacbeth.com, but it's basically, I'm trying to sort of align it more with who I am now, just the vibe and just the services I offer. So I'm in the process of doing that. I'm in the process of creating an astrology basics course online, like a 6-week course.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So like do everything from online.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just basically trying to iron out the logistics of that right now, like what programs I would use and stuff like that. So I'm planning on doing that. And that's basically it. I teach a full moon yoga practice at Urban Yoga in Phoenix every month.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Full moon. So there's so many things about full moons that you always see. And if people don't know anything about the moon and astrology, obviously they think it's the full moon is when the freaks come out. So what exactly is the importance or the sign of a full moon?
Okay, so the full moon is about endings. It's about cleansing, purging, letting go. It's when things come to fruition, to culmination, a time of when we manifest all of the work that we've put in. So, and you've built that energy starting with the new moon up to the point of the full moon. Hopefully, I mean, you're not going to manifest out of nowhere, right? So,
so there's a full moon one day, and then there's a full moon the next day, and then a full moon the next day. What is that a sign of?
So, well, you're saying because it still looks like a full moon the following day.
Yeah. Is it not a full moon if it?
No, it peaks as a full moon on a particular day at a specific time. But
this is why she's a professional.
The days leading up to and the days after, like if you just look at the moon, it looks full.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Okay. So anybody would think, oh, it's a full moon. And it is. I'm just speaking more technically, but the full moon affects us the most up to 3 days before and up to 3 days after. So you're still in that energy of the full moon energy.
Yeah.
And so, the practice is designed to always be within, hopefully, depending on schedules and stuff, but usually always within the 3 days prior to or after. Yeah. So we're still working with that potent energy, and then depending on the full moon will depend on which zodiac sign that the full moon is in. And that has an impact or an effect on us, energetically, esoterically, all that.
So for people, and I believe in any type of obstacles, like hitting it straight on. Anybody who, I guess obstacle is not the right word, but I guess the enemy line. Anybody who kind of is like, okay, that sounds like woo woo, foo foo, fluff fluff, fluff fluff. What would you say to them? Like if they're like, that doesn't make sense. What is there like science behind that? Or?
Well, you have to learn more about it. It would only not make sense because you're not informed about it. In my mind, in my opinion. But so one of the main things I would say, and I always say this to people, is how can you say that the full moon would not affect us when it's a fact? It's a fact, okay, backed up by science and police reports and everything else. That when it's a full moon, that's why it gets that. Or that's when the freaks come out,
right?
That's why people relate that to it
for years.
Is because when it's a full moon, it moves the tides, right? It moves the tides.
Yeah, that's true.
we're made up of like 80 to 90% water. Why would we not be affected by the movement of the moon? You know, of course we are. Of course we are. So now
that just blew my mind. I'm not kidding. I got an orgasm. No, that's really amazing. I can't believe I never thought about that.
Said that.
I know.
That's so well because you haven't challenged it. You know.
Yeah.
I usually don't say that unless somebody doesn't.
I'm totally challenging for all you challengers out there.
And that's fine. You know. But yeah, so that to me, it's just like it's so obvious, and some people are in tune to it, and some aren't. But it's just like kind of, I also relate it to yoga. It's like you might go to yoga and you're not super tuned into your body yet, but eventually the more you pay attention, you will be.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I don't even know why, when you just said that, not in tune with your body awareness. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I had no idea how much non-body awareness I had before yoga.
Yeah,
yes,
I know, me too. And also not being aware of your breath, because I used to hold my breath.
Or my breast, I swear.
Yeah.
Like,
or my breasts.
Or my breasts. I wasn't aware of them. So, okay, you mentioned something that I think is really powerful, what you said, and I want to ask you about it. It's you said that what you're doing now, what you're teaching now is more based on who you are now.
Yeah.
So who are you, Jordan?
I have no idea.
Like, how does this reflect you and who you believe you are right now?
Yeah.
It'll change later.
Well, you know, a lot of it really just has to do with what I'm going through in my life at the time. And I've learned that, you know, at this point in my life, when I'm stressed out, when I'm overwhelmed, what helps me, what I found to be so powerful is the breath, and also mantra meditation, because it's a constant, like, for pretty much everybody, struggle to sort of control your mind versus letting your mind control you. And that's just like an everyday struggle. So depending on how much, it depends on the person, but I've just learned that what helps me through that is meditation and breathing exercises. And so that tends to be the most important thing for me. And then, you know, the asana, the postures is what helps me like work it out of my body. So I guess it's really just a matter of me trying to find stress management. Yeah. Is really a lot of it.
Okay, so one last question for you. Since my brother died, I just want to always like leave everything with a message for anybody out there who's feeling depressed or feeling like their life doesn't matter. So what would your message be for anybody out there who's just contemplating suicide or just contemplating like life is worthless to them? What would you say?
That's a big question.
Maybe something you told yourself at one point when you're feeling worthless and
well, one of the things I will say is that everything is always changing. So, and this is one of the things I've even spoken about recently is sometimes, because I'm a very emotional being and I get very, you know, I'm very deep and I get very deep into my emotions. And so when the negative emotions, when the not so supportive thoughts and emotions start to creep in, and there's times when you feel like it almost, I describe it like feeling of almost like you're drowning, like you're trying to come up for air. Like it's just so overwhelming, you know, those feelings, if you just wait a minute and let yourself feel them, which is the hardest part, by the way. The hardest part is just allowing, because you feel like, basically you feel like you're never coming out of those feelings, but you do, and you will. Yeah. And so if you just wait it out a minute, allow yourself to cry, breathe through it, remind yourself that tomorrow things will be different. It might be the next day, but it will be different, you know? And it's all about just choices. And so I try to remind myself of that when I'm just down in the dumps, I'm sobbing, you know, maybe I can't kind of like get it together. Yeah. That it's going to change. And then as soon as I'm immersed in that, you know, that sob, you know, the ugly sob,
the ugly crying face,
you know, when I'm immersed in that and I feel like, you know, there's no hope, there's no way out. And then as soon as I'm done, it could be 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I feel better, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I do also want to just say that that's not always the case. So each individual is super unique. And if you're going through something like that and you're the type of person who is trying to get through it and you're just like, and it's been an extended period of time and you're not pulling out of it, I am not against medication in that respect. I don't promote that. There's a lot of different things you can do, like I was breathing exercises, meditation. But I don't ever want anybody to think that they can't do that and then end up worse off, you know?
Yeah. Smoke some ganja, you know, chill
That
out.
too.
Your life is worth it. And we're going to just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for joining me today. Nama motherfucking stay. And we will find you on Jordan Macbeth. Is it M-A-C?
M-A-C. So JORDAN MACBETH.com.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And subscribe and pass it around to your friends. You know the whole deal. And go to my website, sexyfreedom.com, to learn more about when the book launch is happening in April 2018. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. I got to stop it now. Stop broadcast.